Good. Hey, how's everybody doing today? Let's just jump right into it. Let's get some questions here that we have here. All right. Hit the questions. All right, here we go. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? So, we talk about a lot about the self and how changing the self is the way to manifest. Can you give us practical examples and tell us how do we change the self to manifest our desires in our life? And what are practical guides on just how you manifest anything in general? There are so many people, teachers tell me I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to focus, I have to detach. Can you put forth a clear method on how to manifest? And then another part to it is the self. What is the self? How does it work? And why is it important to change the self in order to manifest? Whoa! This is a long question, but it's a good one. And that's what we will go into today. All right. So it is correct. So in order for you to create anything, you have to create a new self concept. A self basically means a self concept is basically a new reality. I want you to consider this. Every 7 years, every atom in your body is a new being. Every couple years, you have new cells. So who you were 4, 5, 2, 3 years ago, you're not the same person technically in this moment. That's why we always say, don't let your past, don't worry about the past. It's the past. You're a totally new, different person. With that, you want to keep in mind. So here's what happens. From the day we were born, or we got into this, what we call 3D matrix world, we've been conditioned and we're in a program. The program is in our subconscious mind. So the self is constructed by the conscious, the critical divide, and then the subconscious. That creates the illusion of what we call the self, right? So the conscious mind is housed your ego. The subconscious is housed your emotions and actions. Changing the self is not about the physical part of this. I want you to get this correct. When people think self-concept, I change. It's not physical. This is about emotional intelligence. When you're going to change the self, we want to put a new emotional map of reality in the mind. The sun is here, so come on, gosh. So you want to put a new map of reality in the mind. So when we change the self, we change the reality. The reality puts a new program in. A new program creates a new world. Remember, we see from inside out. So an example of to change in the self and how to manifest would be, I would use myself as an example. So let's talk about me. So before all of this, I'm programmed. I was programmed and believed that I had to go to this school to get that job and do this. This is what I was led to do. When I was growing up, they were telling me, hey man, you should go into culinary and cooking. And so that's what I did. I went to become a chef, a sous chef, and I started doing all that stuff. But it wasn't who I truly wanted to be. And when I was doing that, I wasn't meeting successful or fruitful happiness. I wasn't totally happy. Yeah, you made decent money and everything, but I wasn't totally happy. And then once I discovered the concept that, hey man, you can actually change yourself to create what you want. And that's when I started to change my map of reality. I started to uncover and unlock these beliefs that I had that I didn't even know were holding me back. Things like you didn't deserve it, there's not more than enough, there isn't more than enough, you gotta find the right connections, the world is limited. All of this created this new reality that I lived in. And once I discovered that I didn't have to live in that reality, I could change my map by reprogramming my subconscious. By becoming aware, then my life started to change. I started to notice better results. My job I was working, everything was flowing. I was like, wow, let's move on more. Then I got my awakening. I started to think about the lottery. I played the lottery. I won the lottery. I bought my dream car. I kept winning and winning, and it just kept going and going. And that's because I changed my self-concept. So when we change the self, it's about the emotional intelligence. So what is emotional intelligence? We have to become masters of our feelings. Our feelings are the indications, are the indicators where we're going. Most people, every day when they get up, they assume that when they feel bad or negative or this, it's natural, it's a part of their life. It's not. That's going to put you in the reality. So the first practical guide for you to change yourself, the self-concept, is to always be positive in some aspects, to practice gratitude in some aspects. These may sound cliche, but they are very powerful in how the universe creates. And once you do that, you'll start to uncover a new reality. You have to remember this, that we live in a multiverse of multiple dimensions that we're constantly streaming in and out. It's how we view the world and what we think about the world that's going to create a map of reality. There's an infinite probability of existence happening. And another part of this question here that I forgot someone asked me to, they wanted me to ask them, hey, how do you explain a wave of probabilities and then an actual reality? Because here, let me read it. Because you said in quantum mechanics that everything becomes a wave first and a possibility, then it becomes a reality. Can you explain what a wave of possibility is and an actual reality? Okay? All right. Yes, you have to become the master of your feelings. All right, so listen to this. So let me go quantum physics real fast, and then we'll go into the examples of how to manifest everything correct. All right, so everything we see around us has what? One fundamental aspect. It's light. Light is how we see the world. Without light, you can't see. They're called photons. These photons have particles, atoms, protons, neutrons. So everything is a particle. Let's get that in first. So what happens is, before anything becomes what you see as a physical solid object, it stays into a wave. The wave means all potential possibilities. So what, in layman's terms, Mark, what is a potential possibility? It means in every possible reality. Okay, today you decided to go get coffee. In reality, you didn't get coffee. When you decided to go get coffee, the universe splits and there's a reality where you didn't get coffee. That's called quantum entanglement or quantum superposition. For example, when one particle spins up, the other particle will spin down. But with a human, with us now, we have multiple possibilities. So when it says a wave of possibility, what they're talking about is different realities. Just like today, you get up, you go to work. Tomorrow, you get up, you're at work, you're doing this, you're rich, you're poor, you're successful. These are called all the potential possibilities for an observer. If you're someone conscious and you can think about what you want, that's what it means, a wave. So it collapses, then becomes a definite thing. And you collapse the wave by observing it, by thinking about it, and it becomes your world. So that, hopefully that answers that question. The next one now, I'll go more into the self, and then we'll talk about how to manifest. So if you want to manifest things you desire easily, let me show you how to do this. I love this quote here, and I had this a few years ago, but I'll read it to you guys so you can see it. So if you want to manifest anything you desire, this is what you have to do. Decide what you want, okay? I'm going to break it down. Believe you can have it. Believe you deserve it. And believe it's possible for you. Then close your eyes, right? You want to visualize it every day for several minutes, okay? And then having the feeling of having it, okay? Then come out of that visualization process, be grateful, kind of enjoy it, then go into your day and release it to the universe, and let the universe figure out how and when it's going to manifest. These are practical guides for you to manifest anything. Someone says, can you read that again? Okay, so I'll read it to you guys. This is something I had a few years back. So decide what you want, believe you can have it, believe you deserve it, and believe it's possible for you. Then close your eyes, and then every day for several minutes, and visualize having what you already want, feeling the feeling of already having it. Come out of that and focus on what you're grateful for already and really enjoy it. Then go into your day, release it to the universe, and trust that the universe will figure out how to manifest for you. So let me bring it in layman's terms here. So a practical guide is very simple. Is all you have to do is do this, okay? See what you want. Think about what you want. Anything opposite to it, don't entertain it. Keep thinking about what you want. See it in the end. Practice being positive and open. Let it go. Your ego will come in, figure out how or when, still ignore that. That's not what you want. And then continue in your day. You're going to create a field to attract it. And that is how you manifest. Now let me go back to the self again, because this is important. If you want to change yourself, it's all about this. I'm going to give you the tips now to change the self. Yes, you can change the self, the emotional intelligence part of your mind. The first step to change the self is to remember that we are storytellers. It's all about changing our story. We all have stories. Some of us has victim story. We get up every day. My boss is against me. My coworker don't like me. Why is all these things happening to me? The universe sucks. Everything is bad. That's a story that becomes our reality. So if you're living that, you have to change your story. It's very simple. Now, to change your story, flip it. Every day when you get up, start to think, hey, what if things start going right for me? What would it look like for me to have that? I am the best version of myself. By just saying those things, you're going to brainwash yourself. Yes, brainwash. You need to brainwash that because your subconscious cannot understand logic. It's just going to say, oh, this is a new me. And if I do this every day, my subconscious is going to say, oh, let me kick this old map out and let me put this new map in. And that's where you start to shift into these different realities, right? See how it works? Yes, if I manifest in a car and I keep seeing it, is that a sign? That is a perfect sign. Remember, when I was manifesting this, my M3, for the lottery, I used to see this car every day. The car was a Dakar yellow. I used to see yellow cars all the time, man. At one particular time, there were 6 yellow cars. There was one in front of me, one behind me. I was here. I pulled up. There's a yellow car in front of me. A yellow car pulled behind me. A yellow car pulled parallel to me. And on the other side of the light, there's a yellow car. And then in the parking lot over there were 2 yellow cars. There were 6 cars, man, the same color. They were all sports cars. That's how it works when you get elevated into the next level. The universe is going to show you these signs. Now remember, guys, these signs didn't go anywhere. They were there. We just weren't tuned into it. So a big key for you to remember when you're going to create anything is once you change the self, you're going to see evidence of things happening. I'll give you another example of someone who changed herself. So I had a client, a student, and she lives in London, right? And she was always kind of not low self-esteem, but she had talent, and she wanted to live the best life. She wanted to own something. She wanted to have they call it flats in Europe. She wanted to have a new flat. She wanted to do anything. But you know, when she would talk to me, she would talk as if she was a victim, and she didn't even realize it. She was just, because that was her story. And when I told her, I said, look, for you to change your reality, change yourself. So I told her, listen, first thing you got to do is stop talking that story about yourself. Start talking a different story. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't make any sense. I'll try it. So she started doing it for 1 week, and she stopped. And I said, why you stop? She said, because my mind kept telling me it's not working, and I get distracted. I said, of course your mind's going to tell you it's not working, because the mind has a protective barrier. Your subconscious wants to protect the program, so it's going to use your own conscious mind to tell you this isn't working. I said, you got to keep going. That's a sign it was working. She's like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, she said, let me continue. So she started to continue, and then 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then I started to know the difference. And she started to know the difference. When she was talking to me, I noticed all those negative words weren't there anymore. And I said, did you know that? She said, I didn't even know that. And we used to record our sessions. I said, go listen to this recording. And she said, oh my goodness, I'm saying these things I never said before. I said, yes, because you're brainwashing yourself. And she's like, okay. So anyway, that started happening. So the emotional intelligence got up. So she started to make more money. She bought a new flat. She started to write a documentary. She wrote journal books, and she just kept excelling and excelling. And she said to me, Mark, what was the difference that where I am and where I am today? I said the difference is the emotional intelligence, because you created a new map of your story. Your subconscious doesn't care about who you were before or all that stuff, because that's irrelevant. Time doesn't exist there. It just cares about what you are today in this moment. The only part of you that cares about that is called your conscious ego mind. The logical part of your mind that likes to hold your past against you and likes to hold things against you, that's the only part that cares. But you got to remember, that part cannot create your reality. It can only observe the reality. And what that part does, it keeps these emotions, and it will send it to your subconscious, so your subconscious can sabotage you. Your subconscious is illogical. It is going to listen to your conscious mind. But once you take control of your conscious mind and you start telling your conscious mind what you want to think, what you want to feel, the subconscious gets that. That creates your reality. That's how you change yourself. So for anyone out there watching this and you'd like to know how this manifests and how the universe works, the first concept is change your self-image. Change the self by talking good about yourself, by moving on, by telling a different story. You can do any story you want. You can go and say, oh man, I'm a producer, I'm a writer, whatever your field of trade is, I'm a successful this. Listen people, let me repeat it. Your subconscious is illogical. You know what illogical means? It's like a kid. It's going to believe anything you say with repetition. See, a student I had, she went 1 week and she stopped because she listened to the mind. You don't do that. Your mind is going to put up a defense because the mind likes familiarity. It likes a routine. And let me give you a tip too. Your own mind does not like abundance. It doesn't care about your happiness or success. It just cares about you being in a state of being. It keeps you in a routine. Most people's routines are stuck in limitation. Your mind is fine with that. And let me blow your mind even more. Guess what? It's not even your mind. I repeat that. You don't have a mind. You are mindful of consciousness. What's happening is your environment is creating these vibrations through the collective consciousness, and all this emotion and energy is coming from everyone, and these thoughts and feelings are always happening. They come into the brain receives them, and the brain takes on your voice, and it becomes the mind. But it's not you. It's a tool that the brain uses to make sense of the reality. But we identify the mind because it has a voice that sounds like us. And that's why your mind don't care about you, and that's why it will keep you in a rut. Until you learn that, that's when you will have freedom to change the game. So, see you next time.